with Katie Curry.
Good evening, everyone. It's a sickening sight. 1 week before Memorial Day weekend, the beach on Grand Isle, Louisiana, a beautiful resort destination, is closed after oil as thick as chocolate syrup washed up on shore today. BP oil. The next attempt to plug the offshore gusher will involve shooting heavy mud into the well, a method called top kill. But BP now says that won't happen until Tuesday at the earliest. And the worst case scenario, BP says the oil could keep leaking until August, when relief wells are finished. For now, though, the spill keeps growing in the Gulf, threatening more and more of the coastline there. Mark Strassman is on Grand Isle tonight. Mark, this is just what everyone has been dreading.
They sure have, Katie. This is Grand Isle Beach, a mecca for tourists and for fishermen. And this is what everybody here woke up to today. Oil everywhere. Take a look. This is not sheen or small tar balls. This is thick, sticky, crude oil. This is bad news here. And as bad as this is, the worst is yet to come.
It's nothing but a thick brown oil, and it's just devastating.
Grand Isle Police Chief Uris Dubois walked onto the beach this morning and found disaster, with still more oil coming ashore in waves. Is it this thick all over?
This thick all over.
So much oil, the chief had to close the beach indefinitely.
It was unbelievable. They have oil everywhere.
This band of oil runs the entire length of Grand Isle Beach, and this beach runs for 7 miles. In both directions, oil as far as the eye can see. And just a mile from here, connected to this beach by 2 main passes, is an unprotected state marine sanctuary. Oil now stains 53 miles of coastal Louisiana, a spill so mammoth this was NASA's satellite view of it from space. More oil hits land every day. More wildlife is dying, including this brown pelican, Louisiana's state bird. Out in the Gulf, more wildlife killed by the oil will never be found. State and local officials increasingly feel desperate and furious at the response by BP and the federal government.
There is hard boom sitting on the dock. There are skimmers sitting in trailers. That's not acceptable.
Especially in Grand Isle, population 1,200, the first residential area smeared by the spill.
Are you taking it personally?
Absolutely. This is as personal as it gets.
Monique South has a water view of this crisis.
If you peek over the dock and you look down there and you see boom, oily boom.
Somebody's got to fix it. There's nothing you can do. There's not much you can do but just watch it come.
Chief Dubois watched more come this morning on a helicopter patrol.
As we speak, 2 miles in the Gulf, there's thousands and thousands of gallons coming in.
And Dubois most livid at BP.
Look in the beach. Do you see anybody cleaning up?
We saw scattered workers cleaning up, temps hired by Grand Isle. But Dubois says he has warned BP for days oil was coming.
So far, they have not done anything. They have not picked up a quart of oil yet.
Nothing at all?
Nothing at all. Now it's coming to the beach. They still don't know what to do.
Experts will tell you there's nothing complicated about cleaning oil from a beach. You just take a shovel, you scoop it up, you put it in trash bags, and you just haul it away. But it takes a lot of labor. And right now, Grand Isle has 7 miles of dirty beach and no help to clean it up. Katie?
Meanwhile, Mark, are there any health concerns on the island now that the oil has washed up there?
Absolutely, Katie. I mean, no one has been sick from the oil so far. But Chief Dubois, for instance, is worried about medical issues like respiratory issues, for instance. If oil were to surround this island, he actually has in mind an evacuation order like it's a hurricane. Just one of the many new contingency plans here as all this oil keeps washing ashore.
All right. Mark Strassman on Grand Isle, Louisiana. Mark, thank you so much. Meanwhile, President Obama is appointing a commission to study what went wrong. And CBS News has learned former Democratic Senator Bob Graham of Florida and William Riley, who headed the EPA under the first President Bush, will lead the panel. BP, meanwhile, is in charge of the response to the oil leak, but as Cheryl Atkinson reports, some in Congress are pointing fingers at the Obama administration, saying it's not putting enough pressure on the oil company.
5,000 feet deep, oil still gushes nonstop, no longer out of sight thanks to the live feed BP was forced to make public. An elite congressman says patience has run out.
The American people want this leak plugged now. They are outraged. This is an all-hands-on-deck crisis. And we need to use every asset the United States has, including the Defense Department and all of its most sophisticated technology.
Markey and others are taking issue with the Obama administration's approach so far of leaving it up to BP.
They have the legal responsibility and the technical expertise to plug the hole.
Or do they? They haven't plugged it in 31 days, and today the press corps hammered away.
But if they're not getting the job done, does the government just stand there as a spectator and hope for the best?
Chip, there's nothing that would denote that the federal government has stood there and hoped for the best.
Gibbs says the Obama administration has been aggressive, prodding BP and asking it for more data and information.
You order them to do that rather than
because
asking them to do that.
You can't do that from a private company.
You took over AIG.
Well, the company is largely in receivership.
Today, CBS News obtained more undersea video, turned over 11 days after Congress found out about it and demanded it. Another clip showing an apparent attempt to cap the well on May 6th, and more video apparently showing use of toxic chemical dispersants to break up the oil, a strategy that one scientist today called unthinkable.
It's a PR stunt to dissolve this oil with dispersants. It's just to get it away from the cameras on the shoreline.
BP had already used hundreds of thousands of gallons of dispersant before the EPA ordered a halt earlier this week. They will be allowed to continue using dispersants, but with less toxic chemicals. Katie?
Cheryl Atkinson on Capitol Hill. Thank you. We just heard Chip Reid in Cheryl's piece. Now he's standing by at the White House. And Chip, last week President Obama was accusing BP and other companies involved in the drilling operation of playing the blame game. And clearly White House officials are concerned that some fingers are starting to point at them.
Well, Katie, they're doing everything in their power to make sure that does not happen. At the briefing today, very contentious, as you saw, Robert Gibbs did not give an inch. She insisted over and over again the federal government is in charge and they're doing everything humanly possible to respond to this disaster. In fact, they continued fighting back even after the briefing was over, calling reporters, some reporters, one by one up to the West Wing to criticize them for asking the same questions over and over again for weeks. And you know, they're right, we are. But I think the reason is that there's a growing frustration in that room on Capitol Hill and in the region that some questions about what the government is doing still haven't been adequately answered. Katie?
Chip Reid at the White House tonight.